Oh, do we have a Monday show lined up for you today, everybody? How are we doing? Sam here, United People's TV. I'm not hungover today. I was hungover yesterday. But we're back in the game, and we're here to talk about Ruud and Nistelrooy being at Carrington. We're here to talk about the here we go that is pretty much expected today. Well, it's on the verge of it anyway. I covered the news yesterday with the video for David Ornstein. I'm going to follow up on that this morning, and then we'll speak about Matthijs de Ligt after that. We'll have a cheeky conversation about Manuel Ugarte as well. We'll speak about Van der Beek being sold to Girona for 2 packs of biscuits. We'll speak about Casemiro and Saudi Arabia. But it's going to be a busy show. It's a busy week. Manchester United are back in pre-season training. You know, man, I love United. I mean, come on, man. Back in pre-season training already. Jeez. Anyway, we're going to cover all the news. It is going to be an absolutely stacked show this morning. And I can see there, before I even say hello to everyone, Toby and Tom, you gift in 5 memberships each. And it is absolutely the right time to go to our Brazilian friend to ask how good this morning is.
Good morning. Good morning.
Because it is.
Good morning. Hello.
It is absolutely a good morning here. We've got a serious Monday show to kick off the week. Who's here from the Mod Gang? Good morning to you, Alex. I see you there. Vicky as well. Good morning to you, Josh. Carl, you're there too. And I see, well, you're not there. But and we'll be back soon. Don't worry about that. We've got Chris. We've got Tom and Benj and John. And that kind of rhymed. A Kadri. We've got Jiu-Jitsu Prince. Look at that. Good morning to all you members. Natasha there too. We've got John Mort, Lee, Matt Frost. We've got Ray Rogan. Woo! You ready for this? Let's get into it. I'm going to try and cover all the news. Fire in your questions and your comments. I will try and answer as many as I can throughout the entire show. And if you can, and you do enjoy it, please do drop a like on the video. It makes a big difference. Now, let's start with the good stuff. Well, actually, there's a lot of good stuff to run through here. I'm not going to speak about England's performance. England's penalties. Bueno. 5 ridiculously good penalties from England. England have somehow snuck in to the semi-final through the back door. And we're going to be playing Holland on Wednesday, or Netherlands on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to have a proper Euros feel of a game. But Kobbie Mainoo, I'm not going to specifically focus on the stats, right? Because I don't really care that much about them in this context. But Kobbie Mainoo is playing in international football at a quarter-final level and is the best midfielder on the pitch. And every single thing he's done throughout his whole career so far has been, oh, we won't be able to do that. And he does it. Oh, that might be a little step too far. And he does it. This is going to be a huge pressure situation. And he does it. Goodison Park, Anfield, Wembley against City, Euros, Euro quarter-final. Just every single step that he's got in front of him, yeah, it's fine. Just step over that. Properly no fear. Exactly what you're putting down there, Rob. And it's just that Kobbie Mainoo will now be starting a European Championships semi-final against the Netherlands on Wednesday. And I'll tell you what, Dutch fans in the comments, I asked you last week, I said, what's wrong with you? You said that your midfield is non-existent. Yes, please. Yes, please. Rub my hands together for that one. It's going to be a class game. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, man. All 5 penalties that England took. And can I just say a huge congratulations to Bukayo Saka, who not only was just that penalty would have meant so much to him after what happened against Italy in Euro 2020 final, but just how good he was in that game. Like, easily England's best player. Because, I mean, let's be honest, there wasn't that many other people who really were good. And on top of that, congratulations to Facundo Pellistri after Uruguay knocked Brazil out of the Copa America quarterfinals. So now, who are Uruguay playing in the semi? I don't actually know. Is it Colombia? I have no idea. Anyway, Ugarte got the winning penalty as they beat Brazil. And Pellistri, I think he played 78 minutes. So we're going to have Pellistri and maybe Ugarte in the Copa America semi-finals. We're going to have Mainoo and Zirkzee and maybe de Ligt. And of course, Luke Shaw, who came off the bench Apparently, it is Colombia down there. That'll be a good game. Let me read a couple of your comments out down here. You're going in for the goody morning. World-class potential, says Russell. Oh, man. It is just every stage, every opportunity where people could doubt him. He's like, well, nah, done. Ticked it all off. Argentina, Uruguay, Copa America final. Now, I might actually have to tune into that one because that will be a tasty game. Of course, we've got Martinez with Argentina, and you've got Garnacho. So you may well have... Who's on the other side? Spain. I haven't got any Spanish players, have we? Either way, we could well get some winners coming back to Carrington. It's going to be good. Right, let's go into them. Actually, there's a couple more comments there. I think someone sent a super chat. Rex, how you doing, buddy? I discovered L'Equipe's pundits recently. They can't help dunking on France and praising England. It's completely surreal. Oh, big up to France, by the way. Big up. Elections. Lots and lots of elections going on right now. Right. Let's get into the main part of the story. Main part of the show. Joshua Zirkzee. Now, this Zirzkee story it's developed quite fast. There's been a little bit of a delay around his agent and the agent's commission, because he wants around about 35 to 40% worth of commission. 40 million euros is the contract. Anyway, I covered all the latest from David Ornstein yesterday. Personal terms, not a problem. Agent commissions already in place. Now, we don't actually know exactly what that number is. Reports suggest it's somewhere around the 10 million euros mark. And I think for as far as Manchester United are concerned, they look at Joshua Zirkzee and probably go, is he worth 50 million euros overall? If you include the 10 million euros agent commission into the package, they probably go, well, yeah, he is. And remember, we paid £72 million for Rasmus Højlund, who was a year younger than Zirkzee. Zirkzee is certainly a little bit more established at this point, not just for the fact he's a year older, but more game time under his belt. A little bit more experience under his belt as well. Now, the latest from Fabrizio on this one is this. Pull this up. More on Zirkzee. Manchester United and Bologna will decide shortly which way they prefer to complete the deal. United have agreed terms with Zirkzee. United can trigger the release clause, which is 40 million euros, or negotiate new terms. And that's what David Ornstein said yesterday as well. It's basically Manchester United are looking into whether, because David Ornstein said that if Man United are going to pay that release clause, it has to come out in one lump sum. So that's maybe partly why the release clause is so cheap. Or they probably just didn't think he was going to excel in the way he did. Either way, if Man United use that release clause, we have to pay it all up front one summer, which is not how transfers work these days. If you buy a player for 80 million, rarely, / never, do you get a club paying 80 million up front. It'll be 20 million up front and then 20 million for the next 3 years. However, according to David Ornstein, if we buy Zirkzee using that release clause, then we've got to pay it all up front. So maybe we won't. But according to Damasio, Manchester United are going to be paying the release clause. Either way, we should be getting the here we go soon on Joshua Zirkzee. And today's lunchtime video, ladies and gents, is going to be the Zirkzee profile. He really is such an interesting and unique profile. Like, I don't know, if Man United were going to sign Serhou Guirassy, I could have told you about Guirassy and his style of play, but it would have been not basic, in he would have been a lesser player, but he plays in and around the box, and it'll be about his movement. But you look at Joshua Zirkzee, and last season, Thiago Motta, he kind of gave him a new number, and it was like 9.5, because he's not quite a number 9, but he's not. He got, I think it was 11 goals last year in Serie A, which doesn't scream, wow, that's going to solve our goal scoring problem. But he's a 9.5 because he has a lot of technical capabilities that a number 10 has, which combined with the fact that he's 6'4" and he's actually a bit of a powerhouse, is just a really interesting blend. So he's kind of got some of the characteristics you'd associate with a number 9, a target man. But he's also got some of the characteristics you would associate with somebody who's a little bit more diminutive, more like a number 10. He's good with the ball at his feet. He can spin a player. He can play with his back to goal. He can hold up play. Yeah, Jonathan, I wouldn't say he's got electric pace, but he's 6'4" and he can carry that frame. He's not a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. I would say Rasmus Højlund's faster, but you're looking at those two combined. You know how we've spoken about how Manchester United we don't have a physical enough presence, right? We're quite a weak team. Zirkzee comes in and adds more into that. And I've told you, this is something that City have done over the last 3 to 4 years, is they've started building a team with massive presence. It's not just Erling Haaland, and it's not just Rodri, but just lots of their players and lots of their team. They moved away from the tiki-taka, little Bernardo Silva type players, and lots of them around the pitch, and David Silva and all of those. They went towards power because power is a massive part of how the game tactically is developing. So Zirkzee ticks that box. I'm excited for the idea of it, man. Fire in your comments and your questions. Yus, I think that's a fair, not comparison, but people, and I actually talk about it in the video. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is one of his idols, and also Gabriel Batistuta. Ooh. Anyway, people down there are sort of not comparing him to Firmino, but saying it's that sort of profile because it's kind of fair. Firmino wasn't really a typical striker for Liverpool, but he was just really capable with the ball, just capable of doing far more than a traditional number 9 would be, whilst also being able to score. That's probably where you would put Zirkzee. Don't look at Zirkzee and think, right, okay, well, Manchester United's goal scoring problems are solved next season. He's going to come in and score 25 goals. Brilliant. However, could he do exactly what Højlund did and come in and score between 15 and 20 goals in his first season? I mean, absolutely. Could he also maybe get double figures for if he could come in next? Well, hypothetically, of course, but here we go. Should be coming. If Zirkzee could come in and get double figures for goals and assists, that would be cool. Someone down there is speaking about Anthony Martial. I think that's a really good comparison for what United fans understand. Because some of Martial's best football came just outside the box. When he was running at defenders. You know, when Martial had that bit when he just dribbled at a man and he just got past him. Imagine that with a bit more power and hopefully a bit more fitness. Going to read a super chat out here and I'll go read some other chat comments out as well. Alex is saying serious Berbatov vibes. Yeah, if Berbatov ate 400 chickens a day. Can't eat 400 chickens a day. Anyway, Zirkzee's big. And I'm looking forward to United having that. Power and presence. Yeah, Richard, I think that's fair, like to call Zirkzee a playmaker down there. I've spoken about this before, right? And it's just my own opinion and interpretation. I can see Rasmus Højlund being developed and not pushed centrally, but encouraged, and certainly by a certain Dutchman who's arrived this morning. And I'll speak about that. We've got photos. But I personally feel that Højlund's going to be encouraged to move more towards the box. And I think that's how... I might be wrong, right? Because some of the best bits of Højlund last season actually came outside the box as well. He's very good at running the channels. He's got great pace. I'm not saying that just leave him there, but maybe concentrate more on being on the last man rather than dropping. And I think that's where Zirkzee would be able to come in and be that link man. Really, I'm excited by the prospect of it. It's a really interesting profile. Not typical for sort of strikers of that size, really. Will Zirkzee and Rasmus play together, says Madhouse. I covered that in a video before, didn't I? You could technically see them playing as split strikers together. In certain games, I think that would work. Hamas saying that Zirkzee's perfect for low block teams. Yeah, because he would be able to drop deep, draw a defender away from them, and maybe be able to spin them, or maybe be able to play it back to... He's got a variety to him, right? Chetan, you're saying, Sam, we still need crossing wingers to leave Holding in the box. Yeah, of course, that's part of it. That's part of the development of Manchester United's style next season. Mo, you're saying, how is Zirkzee off the ball? Look, I'll leave that. Any more questions around Zirkzee's style of play for the lunchtime video, which is going to be my profile on him. So if you watch that, you'll understand a lot more about his game. And there's clips in there as well, which will help you really sort of get to know Zirkzee. A little bit more anyway. Let me see, make sure that news isn't breaking, because I imagine we're going to be getting some, we're definitely going to be getting some announcements today, right? And then on top of everything that's going on with Zirkzee, right? Matthijs de Ligt, which seems to be moving pretty fast. I would say there's more updates on Zirkzee over the last 72 hours compared to de Ligt. And sort of the latest that we've heard is that de Ligt wants to join Manchester United. Manchester United want to sign him, right? Personal terms, Fabrizio saying, are almost in place. And for a lot of us, the personal terms are one of the most important aspects of this deal, because he's on north of 250 at Bayern Munich. He can't come in on those wages at Manchester United if we're really, truly going to restructure our wage system. So that's going to be an interesting one. Price, I don't think has ever really been an issue. It's somewhere in the region of 40 to 50 mil, which for a player of his quality and player of his age, yeah, good. Fine with that. That's a totally fair number. So it could well be that we are going double Dutch this summer with de Ligt and with Zirkzee, and then triple Dutch because of a certain Ruud van Nistelrooy, who we will be speaking about soon. Actually, sod that. Let's speak about this right now. Yeah, boy. I'm hitting the gong for that. I'm hitting the gong for that. Come on. What is it, Casemiro?
Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, you're damn right. That is Ruud van Nistelrooy staring straight down the lens. He knows exactly where that lens is. But that's Ruud arriving at Carrington this morning. Preseason training is underway well, I say preseason training. It's going to be players coming in, players just doing their fitness tests indoors, all that jazz. How much weight have you put on this summer? But anyway, the latest we heard from Fabrizio Romano yesterday, was it yesterday? Was this? No, that's the wrong one. I'll bring that up next. Was that Van Nistelrooy is already in Manchester. The 2-year contract has been signed, and we are now waiting for the official announcement. And Anthony, I was going to mention this after, but I'll mention it now. And that is a certain Rennie Hake sitting next to him too. We're looking at Manchester United's 2 new assistant managers, both arriving at Carrington this morning. And look, I'm going to be doing my, in the same way I've already done a video on Van Nistelrooy, showed you all of his time at PSV, took a look at his system so we can understand a bit better about who he is. We're going to have a proper deep dive on Van Nistelrooy. The ones that we've done on Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth, did one on Paul Mitchell, unfortunately. Hope Newcastle fans aren't enjoying that. Going to be doing a deep dive on Van Nistelrooy, but also we're going to have a top-level profile on Rennie Hake coming later this week, explaining sort of how he played at Go Ahead Eagles, and just a little bit more insight into, okay, what's he actually going to change when he comes in. But Ruud coming in, 1 second here, I forgot, I made it as, I made. Big up Parry, made an incredible graphic, which will be going out on the socials, but because you're here live and direct, let's bring this up for you. Where is it? Oh, come on. Come on. Now, if this isn't worth a like on the video, then nothing will be. I don't think so anyway. Because I am so excited next season to see a bit of this. Come on, man. How excited are you about the idea of that? Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in. You know full well, and I'm not just saying this because Ruud van Nistelrooy is coming back as coach. I told you, my favourite players when I was growing up, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ryan Giggs. My favourite striker to have played for Manchester United, in terms of how good he was Ruud van Nistelrooy. 150 goals in, 219 games? Something like that. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee must be rubbing their hands together. Because what a striker to learn from. And I think that's kind of partly why I think I can see Rasmus Højlund being developed to be in and around the box from a positional perspective more often than he was last season. And again, that's just an opinion. I might be wrong. But Zirkzee, being the Dutchman that he is, man, he must just be excited about that. Must surely be excited about that. So, but we haven't had confirmation. I imagine the announcement comes today, right? Let's pull this up. I imagine the announcement comes today. We're going to be hearing about Ruud van Nistelrooy and the appointment of him as assistant manager. The same about René Hakke and appointment assistant manager. And also at the same time as that, I imagine we're probably going to get confirmation from Man United that both Benny McCarthy and maybe Mitchell van der Gag are going to be leaving. There still is no confirmation on that yet. But I believe it was Laurie Whitwell last week in The Athletic that said it wasn't expected, but it could well be on the cards. And that kind of surprised me. I don't think Erik ten Hag would have done that, not willingly, but sort of, I imagine he would have fought in his corner to keep him, but Ineos have massively switched it up. Darko, you're saying are all the work permits done? I would be quite surprised if René Hakke and Ruud van Nistelrooy were arriving at Carrington if the work permits weren't done. All right, Fabrizio Romano's already said that, what did he say there? That one there? Contract's already signed. But I'd be surprised if they weren't arriving there at Carrington this morning if they couldn't work. Or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe they're just going to Carrington to walk around, to shake the hands, to meet Erik ten Hag, to meet the players and say, look, we're going to be coming in and we're going to be working. No word on Steve McLaren yet. But the suggestion is that Steve McLaren will indeed be staying. But I'm just, man, everyone's been asking for change. We've already got, actually, I'll pull this up here, because I did this last week. Lots and lots of you have been asking me to do this for a while. And I'll be honest, I'm glad I waited. I'm very glad I waited, or that video would have been out of date very quickly. But I covered to the best of my ability, and of course, partly this is interpretation in how I see the hierarchy of Manchester United. But I covered everything in terms of all the changes that have happened. From Omar Barada, by the way, who starts in 5 days' time. I believe it's the 13th of July is the first time he can come and work at Manchester United. So maybe next Monday we're going to get photos of Barada arriving at Carrington. Dan Ashworth should already be there. I spoke about Christopher Vivell, Director of Global Talent. I spoke about Jason Wilcox, and also all the changes that have happened on the football, on the actual coaching side. And the fact that Mitchell van der Gag is expected to leave. The fact that Steve McLaren is expected to stay. René Hakke, Van Nistelrooy. And then you've got the new goalkeeping coach, Van Rudewa? Bloke from Ajax, who was Burnley's former one. And then McCarthy leaving. That's what I mean. It's even hard for me to sort of list them off one by one, all the changes that have happened. So I needed to do that video for myself as well. But if you haven't, go and check it out. But yeah. It's just, mate, Ruud back at the club, man. If there's, I'm sure there are plenty of you that didn't get the opportunity to watch him, mate. That was ages ago. It's like 23 years ago now, man. Damn. I'm getting old. Anyway, he was just... I think I'm right in saying this, that Van Nistelrooy only scored 1 goal outside the penalty box in his entire career at Manchester United. I'm pretty sure I'm right when I'm saying that. He was just... He was the greatest. He really, really was. That was at the time when it was the argument between Van Nistelrooy and Henry. I tell you what, I'd love to do a little video on that, arguing the case for Van Nistelrooy. Although Henry was very good. But he was just the best. And that was in a team that was... You'll remember that photo from... I think it was... Was it the 2001 League Cup final? Where we lost on penalties against Arsenal at Cardiff Stadium. Something like that. Arsenal Black Kit Cup final. If I remember correctly. Where is it? 2001? Is it 2001? 2002. I can't remember what year it was. Man United Arsenal Cup final. When was it? We lost on pens. Cardiff. I'm really annoyed now. I can't find this. It's a really famous photo. Sod it. Can't be bothered. Anyway. Who cares? I'll bring that up another time. But Ruud coming back. And then teaching Zirkzee. What a combination that could be. Because honestly, right, if there are elements, of course, Zirkzee is not the complete perfect player, but no 22-year-old you ever sign is. But for him to come in and learn that craft and improve his finishing and understand about the natural movements and positions he has to get into, Ruud van Nistelrooy is the absolute pinnacle for that. 2005 FA Cup. Was it 2005? It wasn't FA Cup final, was it? Was it FA Cup final? I thought it was League Cup. Man United Black Kit final. 2005. I don't think it was 2005. Why am I looking for it again? I couldn't find it last time. That's the bloody one. Jeez, why did that take so long to find? He's not even in the photo. Was this the final? 1 second here. It was a 2005 FA Cup final defeat to Arsenal. Was it actually this? Someone let me know in the comments. Jeez. I'm really struggling here. I shouldn't do this. She gets prepared. Was this the game where Ferguson started Saha and Van Nistelrooy was left on the bench? And then I think that was a game that that was a prelude to him joining Real Madrid. I think I might be right with that one. I just remember that photo. Oh, Scholes, Keane, Ronaldo, Rooney, Giggs, Rio. Yeah, and then we lost on pens. I think that was the game where Saha started. Feels nice, doesn't it? Genuinely, it feels nice to be talking about all these positive steps that Manchester United are taking. Was that League Cup final against Wigan? Never mind. Oh, can't get it all right. Right. Zirkzee should be the first, I think, here we go, that we get. If we go to the... Actually, balls didn't update that one. We go to this. I haven't updated this, actually. I updated the leaving, but I didn't update the active board because we are now certainly further down the line than we are here. Zirkzee is, I believe, now on level 3 with personal terms, but the bid will just be the release clause being paid, so it's a little bit different. Yeah. We've been waiting and wanting for transfers to start, and they really, really are going to be kicking off this week. It wouldn't surprise me if we got 2 here we goes this week. If we got a here we go for Joshua Zirkzee, and we also got a here we go for Matthijs de Ligt. Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. I think definitely we'll get a Zirkzee one. I don't know whether we'll get the de Ligt one. De Ligt one, I saw the... You see the Bayern Munich fans? I think there's like 60,000 or so Bayern Munich fans that have signed a petition for him to stay. Part of the reason why this de Ligt deal can sort of continue advancing, I would say, is this. So obviously Bayern Munich announced Elise at the weekend, and they're going to be announcing João Paulinho soon, and then it's going to be Jonathan Tah by Leverkusen's Jonathan Tah. Man, Bayern Munich are moving quick, and Tah going to Bayern Munich is going to, no doubt, help Manchester United in our move for Matthijs de Ligt. So the dominoes are starting to sort of fall into place. It's the 8th of July. Technically, pre-season has started, but pre-season doesn't really truly start until our first game. And the first game, I think, is it next Monday? I think it is. Is it Rosenborg? Man, as if Man United are playing next Monday. Boy, this summer's going to be no joke. It's going to be no joke. Right, what else we got next? And there's a few conversations that we need to have around sales too, because it gets a bit weird now. Maybe weird's not the right word, but Donny van de Beek is easily going to go down as one of the worst transfers that we've made. Easily. Top 10. It has to be. Signed for 40 million. Signed for 40 million. And Man United are going to be receiving less than the less than we got for Zidane Iqbal, which was €1 million, and that was paltry. It rises up to 4 to 5 million based on appearances. But I'm going to presume that Manchester United are going to be slapping on probably another 50% sell-on clause. I imagine that's what Manchester United will be doing, in the hope that he goes there and revives his career. And look, I wish him the best of luck in doing so. Van de Beek is one of those players, like, you could clearly see he doesn't have a bad bone in his body. He's a really, really good guy. It just didn't work for him. Injuries came, and injuries just curtailed him. But also, I think Donny van de Beek got a lot of leeway from quite a lot of United fans, because I think even when he got his chances, I don't think he was particularly good. And when he finally did look like he was putting 2 to 3 games together, that's when, who was it? Was it Forrest? Can't remember. Someone sat on his leg and the other hyperextension through the knee. Bad. Bad. So fingers crossed, United are just going to hope here that the low cost that we're selling him for now means that we can add another 10, 20% onto the sell-on clause. And then Man United can hopefully those appearances get hit 4 to 5 million. Then he gets sold for 20 million. Brilliant. Man United get 50% of it. Boom. There's another 10 mil. I imagine that's what Manchester United are trying to do here. But it's just like, boy, man. We've literally got a set. But I tell you what, right? I'll tell you one thing. As embarrassing as that is, that right there, ladies and gents, is Manchester United taking a compromise to get a player off the books that simply shouldn't be here. So it's Man United, like, it's basically our club going, yeah, we ballsed up here. Let's accept this loss and let's move on. Rather than going, no, sod that. I'm refusing to accept that because we have to get a minimum of X back right now, which I think we've done before. Hence why we just hoard players. It's rather, you'd rather a little bit rather than 100% of nothing, which is exactly what Manchester United have done with quite a few. And we're going to have to do the same thing with Jadon Sancho. We don't have to do the same thing with Mason Greenwood. I'll speak about him next. But certainly, we're going to have to do it with Jadon Sancho. Or we just hold on to Jadon Sancho and we've got a player on north of 200 grand a week who we don't want at the club. Brilliant. I wish him the best of luck, man. But boy, did he need to leave. And by the way, there is no way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted Donny van de Beek. That was absolutely a market opportunity signing. He was available for 40 mil. Ed Woodward went, yeah, go on in. That's underneath how much he's actually worth. It's like, I don't know, it's like going to a boot fair and thinking you found a bargain. I mean, it's an expensive boot fair if you're spending 40 million. But we didn't need him. We never needed him. The reason we signed him was because we were signing an asset that we could just sell for more. Oh, yeah, we can make a little cheeky 10 mil here. Great. That's not how it works in football. The value of a player is directly linked to how good they are and how much they play. And he just never did. It was stupid. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Casemiro. Still, for me, probably the most significant and important player that we could move on this summer in terms of how much wages it would get off the bill, in terms of how much I think he's going to influence our club next season. Look, I could speak about that one there, the Manuel Ugarte situation. Contacts are still ongoing. He's keen. He's waiting. Nothing really much has happened on the Ugarte front. Not really an update that I can bring you. But he's certainly a player that Manchester United want, whether it's around the 40, 45 million. But again, 45 million for a player of his quality and age, it kind of fits. It kind of fits, right? It's not like Manchester United mega overpaying in the same way that we're mega overpaid for so many before. But let's move on to speak about Casemiro, right? Fabrizio I think I put it down as whispers that, Casemiro's representatives have stopped talking with Saudi clubs. And is that great? Well, nothing. That's not what Fabrizio's saying. They're still in contact. They're still talking. I mean, I don't really know what the delay is. I really, really have no idea why this doesn't just move forward. Now, you might say, Sam, it's to do with wages. And then I would ask you to go and look at how much Saudi clubs are paying players. And then you come back and we have another conversation. The wages are never going to be a problem for any Saudi club. Nor is the fact that Casemiro might be on the way down in terms of his quality and level as an elite footballer. However, he's still more than good enough to nail it in the Saudi league. And also, it's his marketability. And I don't need to explain that anymore. I've done that quite a few times here with you. They're not signing him because they need the best defensive midfielder in the world. They're signing him because they want people to look at the Saudi league differently and to increase the exposure. And that's where Casemiro is absolutely right at the top level. Man United should be getting somewhere between 30 to 40 mil for him. And he'll get a wage increase. And he goes off into the sunset, has 1 or 2 years there. And, I mean, it's not as if he isn't already set up for life, given how much he's earned over his career, but it's the bumper end of career payoff. Oh, I thought Varane was going to do that as well, but it looks like Varane could be going to Como. And we all know that we're now Como. We're all going on an away day to Como. Can't wait. It's going to be a great trip. Get Ugarte, Amrabat, and sell Casemiro. I saw some whispers on Amrabat come from Italy. Not really much on him right now. I personally would be surprised if at this stage Manchester United come and we find that we go after Amrabat now. It'd be like, that's kind of a bit weird, isn't it? Why hasn't that already happened? Right, let's move on to the next part. Because, I mean, it is a busy Monday. There's some more I can bring you here. Zlatan confirming that AC Milan will not sign him. He's in the past, as in you wouldn't pay what they wanted. So that's why he's in the past. Actually, one more conversation around players who could be leaving is Mason Greenwood. And just the whispers we're hearing here, right? Because there's lots of clubs who want Mason Greenwood. You know what? I think Manchester United will probably not anywhere near the same levels and degrees as how cheap we sold Van der Beek to Girona. But I imagine Manchester United are going to do quite a similar thing in the idea that they'll probably accept a lower price up front for Greenwood, as long as we can put in the 40 to 50%, the big sell-on clause. And by the way, he should absolutely be going. Yes, I think there was photos over the weekend of him training with Shoda Shoretire. I'd be very surprised if we saw Mason Greenwood back at Carrington today. But Carrington, the doors are opened. Manchester United pre-season. I mean, I wouldn't say it's begun. As I said, it's day one. It's like it's coming back. It's just doing all the preliminary tests and checks. But there's a couple of players who have arrived already. I'll get some photos up for you here. These have just happened. There's a certain Marcus Rashford. And wow, what a season he's got ahead. Will he be a Manchester United player? I personally do think so. But if a big bid comes in, then Manchester United, in my opinion, will consider. Personally, that's what I think will happen. But it would have to be a substantial bid. And again, we're talking about Højlund and how he can learn from a certain Ruud van Nistelrooy. We're speaking about Zirkzee and how he can learn from a certain Ruud van Nistelrooy. I'm pretty sure that Marcus Rashford could learn a thing or two from Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. Of course, Benny McCarthy helped him get towards 30 goals in all. Well, 30, yeah. Nay, a bad return. But Ruud's on a different level. Just every attacker in our team, just Ahmad, Garnacho, Rashford, Højlund, soon to be Zirkzee. They're all going to be excited to work with him. And also, Onana's back. And Onana is going to have a new setup this season. What's his name? I can't remember his first name now. Van Rudewa, the Ajax and former Burnley goalkeeping coach. He's going to be coming in. So Onana's going to have a new direct coach. And of course, we should be having a new defensive setup in front of him. We should well have, well, it's not guaranteed yet, but you may well have De Ligt and Martinez as the two centre-backs in front of Onana. Now, that is Ajax, man. All three of them. That should really be changing how Manchester United are going to be playing out from the back next season, man. And it goes towards that ultimate vision that I had when we were first linked with Erik ten Hag. And the idea that Manchester United and our new style going forward would be a blend of the best of Manchester United over the years. Man United's ability on the counter, like the ability to turn what transitionally, when we were at our peak, and in my opinion, that was 2007, 2009, how just devastating we were. Bang, 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 clinical, just ridiculous. Also, how impossible we were to stop, really, in the last 15 minutes of a game when we were chasing something. We were so good at being relentless with the pressure that United were just brilliant at making teams crack. And also, something that we definitely haven't done, and I really hope that that happens this season. Man United used to scare the crap out of teams at Old Trafford in the first 20 minutes. And so often we scored early, and it just controlled. Because when you get Old Trafford to support you, and they bear down on the opposition, it's really hard for teams to play. So that's like the best of United, but then I also thought blend that with the best of Ajax. Tiki-taka. Cruyffian style football, triangles, playing out from the back, fluid passing moves from back to front. I thought we were going to see a hybrid of those two styles. As it stands, we still haven't. Next season, we absolutely should be seeing that. With René Hake, with Van Nistelrooy, and with Erik ten Hag in charge, leading. Nice moped. But Marcus Rashford. What do you think will happen with Marcus Rashford this year? Let's have a little quick conversation around him. Tough season for Rashford last season. Made some serious personal mistakes and errors as well. The Belfast situation was not a situation, in my opinion, that a Rashford in the right frame and state of mind would do. Because you can't get away with it. You can't not be seen. So therefore, he didn't care enough for the fact that photos and videos were going to come out. And therefore he wasn't in the right state of mind. But the year before he got 30 goals. I'd love to see him back firing at his absolute best, which means Rashford playing out on the left-hand side and the left-hand side alone, by the way. Darko, you're saying he's going to be back. Matt, you're saying sell him. Sandman, you're saying I don't mind if Rashford is sold. Ryan, you're saying that you think he'll be going too. Danny, you're saying that Rashford will stay. Zirkzee will help him. If I was to predict what would happen, I think Marcus Rashford will be a Manchester United player next season. That would be my prediction. However, at the same time, as I've said, if a bid comes in that is worthy of considering, I believe Manchester United will consider it. I don't think we will actively be trying to sell Rashford. In the same way, I think we're probably being more active in trying to sell Casemiro. I don't think we will do the same thing this summer with Rashford. However, if the big bid comes in, we will definitely consider it. That's what I think so anyway. Let me see if there's any other news that's coming out. I'll read some of your comments out, man. More comments. More comments! Why is anyone talking about Greenwood? It still staggers me that there's so much energy towards wanting him back in the United shirt. It just makes my eyebrows raise. It really, really does, man. And we've had those conversations before, so we are not doing those again. Last chance season for Rashford, says Anthony. But if he does stay, I would absolutely agree on that. On the pitch, it didn't look like he cared. Yeah, just he was completely mentally gone last season, Marcus Rashford. Even after he dropped after Belfast, came back the next game, then scored after like 7 minutes. You think, there he is, he's back, and then it kind of just dipped back into the frustrating Rashford, which he was all of last season. I have a feeling Sancho will stay, says Rudy. There is no chance. Absolutely no chance that Jadon Sancho stays at his football club. Right, where's that? Is that over here? Oh, I just thought I had that up. Yeah. Erik ten Hag gave Jadon Sancho the opportunity to apologise last season. He didn't take it. Jadon Sancho's now, the chance is gone. All right? The team is back. This is a new team, a new feel Manchester United. Does anyone else get that feeling? I know it happens every year, right? It's the beautiful ability of football. Every single year, you come in with like a renewed energy. You get a couple of new signings, right? You're like, okay, well, we're going to get Zirkzee. We might get, I don't know, we might get Matthijs de Ligt as well. We come in a new centre-back. We've got a new striker. All right, well, maybe we'll get a new central midfielder as well. And there you go, great, brilliant. Every year, just football has this ability to just renew itself and get you excited for the next season. Even if last season you finished 8th in the Premier League, worst ever finish. Of course, we only won the FA Cup, which was an incredible end to the season, but it just feels... Last season, we had Ineos come in... Well, the announcement was made on Christmas Eve, of course, and I think it was completed in February. But now that we've got the new CEO, new sporting director, all the changes I've already run through, and we've got 2 new assistant managers, and we're going to have a new goalkeeping coach, and then 1 assistant's going to be leaving, and the attacking coach, all of that on top. And then you add in the fact that we're going to be getting Zirkzee, and you add in the fact that we should be getting, hopefully, de Ligt as well, and another central midfielder, and add in the fact that there's going to be quite a lot of the deadwood genuinely going. Sancho. I mean, it's not even deadwood, it's just like... It's like prime timber into prime oak in terms of how much Manchester United are paying. Boy. I'm very optimistic. Of course, pre-season can't tell you everything because there's been pre-seasons where Manchester United have won every game and then we've just played naff. And there's been pre-seasons where Manchester United have been massively mixed and then go in and have a great start to the season. I always look In my opinion, I look at pre-season for fitness, first and foremost, but also for patterns of play. I want to be looking at United's games thinking, okay, what's different about this compared to last season? What changes can we see? That's what I'm going to be looking for in pre-season. Any news on the medical team? Well, we know that we've got a new head physio, and Gary O'Driscoll's been doing more stuff behind the scenes, but there's not been any other announcements on top of that. Is Man United too much pressure for players, says Foxy. Come on, we know it is. For a lot of players, it's way, way, way too much. Hopefully it won't be too much for a certain Joshua Zirkzee. Barista, Ethan Wheatley to stay or go on loan. I'm a bit torn on that one, really. I don't know whether we get much game time, especially if we play with one striker next season and we've got Zirkzee and Højlund. You imagine those two would dovetail. I would probably say like a nice mid-table championship loan would be good for him. Right? What's going down here? Any more youth coming into the first team? Enrique, you'll know more about that after pre-season. You should be seeing Harry Masco on the pre-season tour. I think you'll see Jack Fletcher. You'll probably see Eli Harrison, who's the goalkeeper. And there's going to be a couple of others too. Because remember that pre-season training may have started now. Everyone's back at Carrington, but nobody who was involved in the Euros is going to be at Carrington. Nobody who's involved in the Copa America is going to be at Carrington. So there's going to be some players there, but not many. Not too many anyway. Dan Gore, maybe, maybe not. Look, Hannibal's there. There you go. Hannibal's there. There's another one. Let's bring a photo of him up. There's Hannibal. And if we go to the leaving page, leaving whiteboards, I don't really think Hannibal's been linked with anyone. Has he? He's just got question marks next to him. Donny van der Beek, there's no real question marks up there. In fact, I updated this. Damn. I didn't press save. Let's move that off there. These rookies, man. Not updating their whiteboards. There you go. Van der Beek's down there now. I think, you know what I didn't realise is that Hannibal, I think, is in his last year of his contract now. So if Manchester United don't sell Hannibal this summer, then we probably lose him for free next summer. So therefore, I would be amazed if Hannibal is still a Manchester United player, but I also would very much expect another one of these. Another one of these deals with Manchester United. You go, how on earth are you only selling that player for that much money? That's what I think we're probably going to get with Hannibal. But again, if the big sell-on clause is there, okay. Maybe Man United will make some of their money back further down the line, because right now, you aren't going to be getting much for Hannibal. He went to Sevilla. I said at the time, we all did. Well, maybe not we all did, but I just looked at the idea of going to Sevilla or Everton. It felt like Everton would have been a smarter choice of a loan spell. He wanted to go to Sevilla, though. He went to Sevilla, hardly played. When he did play, he got booted out for a bad attitude. It's all the same problems that we've seen before with Hannibal. It was not a surprise. And bear in mind, by the way, I think somebody's left a comment there. Mike, you left it. We paid 10 million for Hannibal as a 16-year-old. I'm guessing that still must be one of the records at United. I don't remember we paying that much for that many players. Garnacho, I don't think it was even that much. I think we got Garnacho for like 1.25 mil. We paid 10 mil for Hannibal. Whoops. And we spent a long time developing. Whoops. Anyway, no real movement in terms of anybody going after Hannibal just yet, but hopefully that changes, and I'll bring it to you when I've got it. Now, I'm going to wrap that up for today. I'm going to be working on, as I said, today's lunchtime video will be a profile on Zirkzee. If you watch it, you'll understand a bit more about his game. Why is he called why is his profile called like a unicorn in football? Which might sound strange, but it's very, very rare. Hardly ever. Was it only 400 grand on Garnacho? Yes, please. Christopher Vivell, you need to find more Garnachos at that price. Oh, yeah, Ahmad was a lot, but he wasn't 16. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. The Monday show is always mega. We've got updated gong noises, all prepped and ready. I need to update the transfer whiteboards. Covered all the news there. I think I'll be back here later today. Probably with a here we go. I think so anyway. It sounds like it. Oh, look, Jason Wilcox is there coming in. All the photos are coming out. Maybe I'll have a little mini video on who's at Carrington today. I don't know. Thank you all for tuning in. I enjoyed it. Hope you have a great day, and I'll be back here tomorrow. And also back here at lunchtime with another video.